or gate-free, because there's one thing to participate, but it's another thing to participate gate-free. How do I participate gate-free as a young person? Is I set the agenda. I set the pace of the tone in which I'm going to engage with the duty player. But the thing in Zimbabwe is different, because you find that the agenda is set by the leaders themselves without engaging the young people. And when we actually do have a youth interface, it turns into something else. It's a vessel between the leaders. It doesn't have anything to do with young people. I would expect to find the youth standing in front of the leaders and addressing them because of the youth interface. I don't expect someone who's 93 to be standing there and telling me about the liberation history, because that is not my concern. My concern is I'm young and I've gone to Perenya with a brother of mine who has a kidney, and the electricity goes for 20 minutes, it's on a dialysis machine. Thank God the dialysis machine has got a backup battery. But what of that person who's on the life support? So it's more than just me not having a job. It has to do with the health sector. What is that thing that is driving my fellow sister to go to South Africa, even if there's xenophobia? Engage us, let us speak out, give us the right to say yes or no when we feel like saying that. For me, that is peace, that is freedom of being a young person in Zimbabwe. On the black path days, because I'm being pulled in what directions.
So you're closer to...
Yeah, someone is telling the freedom that I have right now. And for them, that definition of freedom is I'm able to walk in First Street. And I can stand in front of you guiding, speaking English. That is freedom. When I went to Midland State University. But it's not where I came from. Where I'm going is much more important than where I came from. Where I am at is also very important. So I'm here where the health sector is diminished, where the economy is crumbled. You know, you earn $100 and you go to CBZ to get that $100. You spend 4 days queuing, getting $30 per week. That's stressful, right? I'm also here where I'm not even sure who I'm going to vote for, okay? And everyone is telling me, leave no youth behind, I need to go to register and vote. I do register to vote, but who am I voting for? Who is giving me something to look forward to? No one. So I'm here, I'm confused, I'm lost. I know what I want, but I don't know how to get that. I know I want peace, but I don't know how to get that peace. So I'm here. It's what you call the state of oblivion. I don't know. You're just somewhere there in space. You know, you're just saying, in short now saying, in every direction. Yeah. So this is where we are as most young women, which is the reason why we are forced to go on a political rally and dance and ululate and clap. This is the reason why most young people are hanging behind those mshika-shika cars. It's not because they want to, but they are here in this space where I would rather go to SA and get kicked by South Africans or bent in a tire, because really guys, this is very depressing. So we are here, and I don't know how we are going to get there.
And in support, we'll go together to the government. And in support of my sister, we'll say to the government, let's stop corruption. And join together with the youth so that we work together and improve our economy. That's all.
What our sister has been saying is very true, that we boast about killing people in the war and all that, but then looking at it right now, the future is like a black paper. It's like you don't know what's in it, what's going to come in a few years. Fine, I'll get this and that, but then I'll get a degree, I'm qualified, but then what then am I going to do? Basically, I believe that we need fresh thoughts, meaning we need fresh minds by the people who are leading us. Because how can you base your leadership on what you thought like 30 years ago and think it will help a person who's just developing in the 17 years at the moment? I think that's the first thing we should change. The people who are leading us should have the same minds as we do. Yeah, that's the contribution I have.
in the back, she said something about not being heard. Right now, we are in the middle. I don't know where to look, back or in the forward. If I leave Zimbabwe, it's better than living in a corrupted Zimbabwe. Because right now, they are forcing us to vote, but I know if I vote for the opponent that I want, it won't win because there's corruption. So right now, I don't want to vote because I know even if I vote or not, it's the same. I'm going to get the same corrupted government. So like, we want to be heard. Enough is enough.
That supporting Calvin, my brother Calvin over there, we were saying that we still have the same leadership. For instance, we take companies. I have done my degree, right? Yes, I want to be an entrepreneur, but then I have to have that experience of working in a company or in a firm, right? So I would like to say that the economy, employment, could 65, this one 55, to give a chance to these young youths to pin down mabasa, because we are staying after degrees, degrees to Karapamba. I need experience to be an entrepreneur. I cannot just start things. I need the knowledge. So if to 65 to 50, we give chances to new minds so that the company goes on.
Guys who prefer to live in Western countries, like my fellow friend there, I think please do understand that also coping, please do understand that coping doesn't mean that you are a failure, but you can also copy from those countries and develop those ideas that made them build their countries and implement those ideas in our own countries. That is creating our own peace.
But you know, in a state of chaos, there's also something good in between.
Like what?
Okay, so, you know, when things are chaotic, there's room for change and for people to be innovative. So, you know, I was actually saying to church right now, someone once told me that, you know, our resolve is good, but resolve alone cannot do the trick. The pattern also needs to change. So how do we change the pattern as young people to move from just crying and, you know, complaining? We step up. How do we step up? We step up to get together boldly and speak with one voice. The problem with young people is we are divided by language, by culture, by religion. We don't identify ourselves as youth. I first identify myself as Patience from Zwini before I'm a young person. And this other person identifies herself as someone from apostolic before they are youth. Which means that even if we want to promote an agenda, it's difficult because I just put our name as one. We are not speaking with one voice.
Someone's Zulu, someone's this. How are they doing? What's stopping us from adopting?
You remember what they did with and demonstrating, and there was no fees hike because we're speaking with one voice. So for us, it's because we have not actually identified which cause we want to fight for. Like I said, there's somewhere in between, there's confusion there. Are we agreeing that we should all go and register and speak with the vote? Or we are saying voting will not work? Which is which? If we say we are going to vote, then let's go in our numbers, register, and let's speak through the ballot box. So we need to decide which is the solution we are going to employ. And are we going to do it together, holding hands? We are going to do it individually.
So here's the question.
So my contribution is the problem with youth in Zimbabwe is we are afraid. The first thing that we need to do is to do away with fear. Because when they say we are getting in the street, I want to pass on to my police never button stick and we'll beat them up. The problem with us is also, I'm in the office, who was saying, guys, let's go in the street and demonstrate with fees but for and you know, so the first step that we have to do in Zimbabwe is to get rid of the fear. Even during the liberation struggle, it was not easy, but they got rid of the fear and they went into one. So I think that is the first thing that we need to do, but I don't know how.
Not really comfortable with talking to their MPs or with their councillors. Number one, because the councillors expect to be given back their money for fuel when they engage with the young women in the communities. So they cannot really meet with the duty bearers outside the spaces that we provide as Zimbabwe Young Women's Network for Peace Building. But one thing that did come out that was positive in that project that we're doing is that when the community and their duty bearers actually come together to do what we could call community-based practices, where the duty bearers listen to the concerns of the community and the community also listens to the concerns of the duty bearers, because we say development is not a one-way process. We have a part to play, and our government also has a part to play. So we try to instill that in our young women to say you are also responsible as much as the duty bearer is responsible. So it also works in that way. If both parties understand that they have a role to play, if you understand you do not need to litter in the street, it means there's less litter accumulating in the streets that we travel. If you understand that you need to save water and not brush your teeth while the water on the tap is running, it also means you save a few liters of water that we are saying is in short. And then secondly, what we have done is the Zimbabwe Young Women Network for Peace Building, so we've established young women clusters, because you find that young women face violence on different levels. So in the communities we work in Murewa, Mtoko, Highfields, we have what we call young women clusters. And these young women clusters, they decide to do different things that they feel brings peace to them. I'll give an example. In Highfield, they formed a netball team because they feel they connect better when they're playing netball. They feel that netball teaches them discipline, it also builds their physique, and it moves them away from the stresses that they face at home. So they've also decided to create netball team, what we're calling young women in sports, promoting peace and good public service delivery. So when they're playing sport, they're discussing about the need to have clean water, sanitation, the need to have refuse collected. They're also discussing on how they can promote peace in their homes and in their communities. And at a more personal level between me and Charity, what we have decided to do is we work as a team in the office where we have one guy, McDonald. And sometimes McDonald doesn't really understand what we want to do as girls. So what we have decided to do is we have decided to say we be honest with each other. When McDonald does something that is wrong, we call a meeting every Monday and we say we didn't feel this worked right, because men tend to be masculine and say, you know, I'm the finance, so things go my way, right? So we have decided that we sit down, we talk as peaceful people to say, Mikey, we want to do this, and if you say we can't do this because of this will cause this. So on a more personal level, we also decided that as young people, sometimes it's not good to be confrontational. Sometimes it's really good to actually settle down, discuss the problems, make the other person see what they are doing is leading to this, that can also have a ripple effect on their lives. So as Zimbabwe Young Women Network for Peace Building, they've not been doing really the things you might consider big. They've been really small steps, but with a ripple effect. So sports, engagement with duty bearers, and just having self-care, loving ourselves, because we need to love yourself first, and also know that you should be a responsible citizen.
When you're playing sport, do you see it as a way of giving you peace? He's talking about netball that young women use to deal with the things that are causing them anxiety or making them restless. Or I think you said, what was it? You said that you picture Zimbabwe like a black paper and you can't really see. And does that worry you? Do you get nightmares about it, and therefore are you at, what kind of state are you in? And do you think that you, I think this is where Thomas was asking, do you think now before you even graduate high school, college, that you can actually be part of the vision for creating collectively a state of better peace?
Let's say, also been given a platform to express how we can develop an economy. The reason why I see all of you and all my age mates to be start is that if I come here, this flag here, this female flag here, if I put you guys and me and the rest of my generation there, the conflict this, I take this as a case. You understand what I'm trying to say? We, the black people, the black generation, we grow up with this mind, this ideological mind, that for you to be prospering, you should be able to go to school, get educated, be a doctor, or any other professional, get a job. The idea of jobs. And for this reason, this is why Africa is lagging behind. Because we gave birth to a generation which only propels you to say that if you want to get somewhere, get educated and you must get a job. Even if you are not educated, get a job somewhere. We are not bred in such a way that rise up as a young entrepreneur, bring about a certain idea that can bring change within your generation. So I think that for me, if we do not do something this age, this black is a case. Because we're carrying something from our forefathers who told us that go to school, get a job. Don't say go to school, become a millionaire. Do you get where I'm coming from? You are not taught to be entrepreneurs. You are not taught to bring about certain ideas, develop it. Whether what happens that don't think that you can just go to a bank and say, you know what, I've got an idea, I need 50 million. Or I need 5 grand. No one in Zimbabwe, even in America, even first world countries, don't think that it's easy. Don't think that you can just go and open the minister's office and say, Minister, I've got an idea, why don't you come and support me? Yeah, this curriculum, Minister, so what's in it for me? Am I right? That's what she was saying. But I'm saying, what is trying to say that, all right, despite the second, don't think that we'll get to get at a certain equilibrium point where the government is transparent. We'll get to an equilibrium point where everyone has got access to resources. But we have to act within this certain situation, economic situation that we're in. What idea do you have it, and how can you turn that idea into something absolute that can turn around this economy? I think that's what my brother Mr. Thomas said. Just for example, I'm a researcher. What you do at 265 is that sometimes we go about in the field, we engage communities, companies, we see what young people are doing there. The are young people of our generation, our same age mates, who are doing something bigger than what we're doing. If I'm to tell you this, is that, for example, if you know about this, we've got a 21-year-old young man. He's a security network manager at NASA, a Zimbabwean guy. Can you believe that? Alright, you don't believe that. We have an ICT expert who runs the core network of MI6 regiment. That's Britain, isn't it? He's a Zimbabwean. The chief data analyst of Pacific Asia in Africa, she's a lady, she's Zimbabwean. Did that lady complain that the government did not give me a job? We've got a young man called Maxwell Chikumbuzo. He's the guy who from scratch, he managed to build a helicopter that doesn't use aviation spirit. He was the first guy in Africa to build a drone in 2013 using scratch material. He's the same guy who managed to invent the electric car that is making waves across the world. Right now he's in the States. But did he complain that Chinamasa didn't give me a loan to build a helicopter? We've got a guy called Clive Nyafogoto, he's from Right Institute of Technology. 3 days ago, he won an International Excellence Award at the ITU conference in Busan, South Korea. Shift organic system. Someone is doing something, he's managed to develop a computerized farming system where you can grow vegetables without soil, without fertilizer. This is the right mindset of the young people, the Zimbabweans that you want. Yes, we're in economic mess and economic meltdown, but with your idea, you are brilliant young people. You can see from all that. Going to nice schools, your parents have done a good job, yes. They managed to send you to school, complain what you're going to do about your future. If you fail, you do not fail your parents, you fail yourself. So what are you going to do? That's my story to you.
Can I just start the activity, ability for young people to dream? You know, like the Americans are very good at doing this. You go to no other place, no.
So what I'm trying to say is that it's a generational case. It's a culture that we are doing from our parents. Right? This, I'm a black guy. I don't think I might lie to you, but I'm a black guy, right? It's not an insult, but let's be honest to each other, right? The black skin, if we look at it, there is racism because there is a certain kind of people who thought they are above this thing. And for some reason, I don't know how our father did it, but they always played the catch-up game. We were brought up with this mentality, with this mindset that get a job and save boss to someone. There's this statement that is very funny, most of them say, no matter that you are black, as Murungawe. Because the only mentality. That mentality yokuti, the white Murungu, there has to be the pesetas, because they've got the ideas to make money. Then you owe your papas going to be able to make money. That's the mentality that I was saying. We should be able to eradicate this black mentality. The idea of jobs. We're not brought up in such an ambitious way that for you to be able to prosper in your life, you need to look beyond education. Because it's very funny that if you go on the internet right now, the Kenyan government from 2012 to 2016 alone, the Kenyan government has given birth to 18 million millionaires under the age of 25 years. Why? Because the Kenyan government realized that sooner than the 2010 South Africa World Cup, they realized that if they start investing in the young people, motivate them, even there's no money, but create a certain hubs where the young people can come there, develop their ideas, the government can be able to have a paradigm shift from the old traditional means of doing business and give birth to new ideas that can bring about change in the economy. And right now, the reason why we're in Zimbabwe is that, right, fine, the government, don't think, because right now, the watching Botoras will say, government, it's not regular, Minister of Payments, we are planning to unseat the government, isn't it? Because we were discussing ideas that we want to promote peace, we want to promote economic change in our economy. So, but as long as we are in this room and we are engaging in this talk, we are enemies to the government. Because we are trying to unseat someone who's sitting pretty, children or his children, they are in the first world universities, he's living in a 4-5 million mansion in Borodale, has got properties, he can loot it whenever he wishes to do so, as long as the monetary policy has been released and the government funds have been allocated, he's sitting pretty. So if you are trying to go against that person and say, hey, give me a chance, I want to speak, I think I know better than you, you are creating more. You are actually disturbing peace that you are trying to promote here. Because you are trying to unseat someone who is sitting pretty. Do you get what I'm saying? So Nyaripo is that, how do we go about? My idea, my personal idea is that, let's make that government irrelevant. And you cannot make that government irrelevant as long as we've got this idea of jobs in our hand. Which let me go graduate, go into Kunasti, I want to be a policymaker in the Minister of ICT or Minister of Youth. As long as our youth have got the idea of jobs in our mindset, if we don't promote the ideas of innovation and entrepreneurship, we are not going anywhere. That's when we have to juggle to write so in the room of Watirana and Babasa. Am I right? No. Yeah. So I think that no matter the circumstances, our generation, I think that we are wiser than whoever is leading us. But the problem is that, my politicians, no words and you go to school, your parents get your Form 4, Form 6, your degree, your PhD, your Masters. But in the next you talk at the politician, I got to get a Form 6. And as you are talking about mention, I told you the minister, my people. That's how fun the game is. But for you to be able to make that person irrelevant, is to be innovative. How can you develop that little idea that you, without money, without asking anybody for favors? Start doing something. Don't think about getting a job from somebody else. Say, whatever.
We don't, we are last two.
Sorry, ideas don't run out, products run out. And if I were to approach the government as a person, I would say, concerning job creation, everything you've done, a pretty much excellent job. As much as it contradicts with all your opinions. Because to me, with every product that I've presented to any government parastatal, they viewed me as if I'm like some form of early Christmas or something. Right? I didn't present an idea, I presented a product that they can easily buy and implement. So I would say, for anyone who's frustrated about the government, I would say, work on your idea, get a product, and work with that. I am trying to make the government irrelevant or something.
This one is probably what my brother was saying to say. I think building peace should not be focused on, when we're saying that, to say if we don't have this government, then we have peace. I think peace should be, when you're saying it's going to be a couch, you want to build a couch of peace,
must always be there, no matter where the current government, because if we wait for this government to go, what if they continue to rule for the next 20 years? Are we going to wait and say we're going to start to build peace after 20 years? I think we should always continue to have this couch of peace, no matter who is ruling. Maybe if we have a new government, are we sure that they're going to change or to do what we want to do? And then we say now we are now building peace. I think as young people have reached that stage where we blame everything on the government. Even if I don't charge my phone at home and then it switches off during the day, I'll blame the government. The government. I think everything now we have now just pointing to the government. We need to change that mindset and then start being positive to say, for us to have a culture of peace, it should be an everyday thing. And then use that innovation which we were talking about. Say, if we innovate now, it means those challenges which we face, no matter this government X, Y, or Z which is there, we can still continue to celebrate our peacefulness, our world in a peaceful way, no matter who is ruling, who is there, or who is to come. I think
that brings us to the end of our event. We could talk here all day. I know my brother Thomas has got something in store for us. I hope that you guys can network. I hope there's been some ideas that you've shared, you've gained. I want to speak to some of the, especially the young guys, you know, share something that I didn't share before. I'm actually an accountant by profession. So I studied in Australia, I worked in Australia, and I came back home. Right? And I always wanted to come back home. You know, my family are here, my parents are here, and I've got a SIM passport even now. I could be Australian, I could be British, I could be whatever, but I'm Zimbabwean, and I chose to be Zimbabwean on purpose. I went to the UK to do my MBA, and I did it, finished, and I continued working there. I came back home in 2010. Right? I'm now a journalist. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I chose this profession, this one that I have now. The other one was chosen for me by my parents. Right? I broke the mold. And for some time, my own father was very upset with me. But he's come round now, he's understood why I do what I do. In fact, he helps me, like, son, I've got someone I need you to talk to. So the thing is, you got to think outside the box. I thought outside the box, and here I am, I've got a company and registered with Zimra and pay tax, and we employ, and there's livelihood, there's dependence. I can actually count and say, look, there's 11 of us in the team, and these 11 people have X number of dependents, and these are the people that we support, right? And we're a family, actually. We're more than a team. We're a family, and as in a very difficult environment, we're growing. It's hard to say that, in Zimbabwe, but we are growing as a business. So the future isn't always, it doesn't matter what Minister of Finance does. Well, it does, but it doesn't really, We stick to what we do as an organization. So you, as an individual, you find your space. You find your space, if you play sports, if France doesn't work out, South Africa, Namibia, there's various options, And, what I found is, when you figure out what you want, and this is the thing for me, I've figured out that I'm very passionate about the media, right? And that's my lane. There's no Nigel the farmer, Nigel the miner, Nigel the dealer, Nigel the cash, I'm just that media guy. And so figure out where you are. I don't support what Washington is saying. Figure out where you are, what you want to do. I want to support what my sister was saying about, government isn't as scary as it looks, eh? Or your city council office or whatever. I went to the district office the other day, and they wanted to charge me $3 for me to get a printout of my statement. Right? And I queried them. And they told me, okay, if you want to query that, go to Rothenburg. And later on today, after we finish this event, we have to put all this stuff back in the office. I'm going to go to Rothenburg and ask, why are you charging me $3 for me to have information that's genuinely mine? The issue is, I mustn't sit there on Twitter and Facebook and WhatsApp and just complain. I must do something. You know, I'm not at peace because I was charged $3 on Friday. I must find the resolution so that I can be peaceful. Because maybe there actually is a genuine reason why they're charging me $3. But with that, I would like to, the event comes to an end. Got a journalist who's looking for Shona or Ndebele speakers. Anyone wants to be interviewed, just to give a few comments on this event. And I'd like to thank you very much for coming to today. Thank you. That brings us to the end of our event. We could talk here all day. My brother Thomas has got something in store for us. I hope that you guys can network. I hope there's been some ideas that you've shared, you've gained. I want to speak to some of the, especially the young guys, share something that I didn't share before. I'm actually an accountant by profession. So I studied in Australia, I worked in Australia, and I came back home. Right? And I always wanted to come back home. My family are here, my parents are here, and I've got a SIM passport even now. I could be Australian, I could be British, I could be whatever, but I'm Zimbabwean, and I chose to be Zimbabwean on purpose. I went to the UK to do my MBA, and I did it, finished, and I continued working there. I came back home in 2010. Right? I'm now a journalist. You understand what I'm saying? I chose this profession, this one that I have now. The other one was chosen for me by my parents. Right? I broke the mold. And for some time, my own father was very upset with me. But he's come round now, he's understood why I do what I do. In fact, he helps me, like, son, I've got someone I need you to talk to. So the thing is, you got to think outside the box. I thought outside the box, and here I am, I've got a company and registered with Zimra and pay tax, and we employ, and there's livelihood, there's dependence. I can actually count and say, look, there's 11 of us in the team, and these 11 people have X number of dependents, and these are the people that we support, right? And we're a family, actually. We're more than a team. We're a family, and as in a very difficult environment, we're growing. It's hard to say that, in Zimbabwe, but we are growing as a business. So the future isn't always, it doesn't matter what Minister of Finance does. Well, it does, but it doesn't really, We stick to what we do as an organization. So you, as an individual, you find your space. You find, if you play sports, if France doesn't work out, South Africa, Namibia, there's various options, And, what I found is, when you figure out what you want, and this is the thing for me, I've figured out that I'm very passionate about the media, right? And that's my lane. There's no Nigel the farmer, Nigel the miner, Nigel the dealer, Nigel the cash, I'm just that media guy. And so figure out where you are. I don't support what Washington is saying. Figure out where you are, what you want to do. I want to support what my sister was saying about, government isn't as scary as it looks, or your city council office or whatever. I mean, I went to the district office the other day, and they wanted to charge me $3 for me to get a printout of my statement. Right? And I queried them. And they told me, okay, if you want to query that, go to Rothenburg. And later on today, after we finish this event, after we put all this stuff back in the office, I'm going to go to Rothenburg and ask, why are you charging me $3 for me to have information that's genuinely mine? The issue is, I mustn't sit there on Twitter and Facebook and WhatsApp and just complain. I must do something. I'm not at peace because I was charged $3 on Friday. I must find the resolution so that I can be peaceful. Because maybe there actually is a genuine reason why they're charging me $3.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.